We've been so snappy recently, but
We have.
this has to go long, I feel like.
Usually does.
Howdy, it's January 7th, 2019, and this is episode 89 of Due for a Win, the Atlantic City and Casino Biz podcast. I'm Kyle Askin, joined as always by Craig Stone. What's good, Craig?
Happy to talk about the best of 2018, our favorite things from the year 2018. I feel like we should really do this during 2018, but we've never done that before, so why start now?
How can you do that, though? You could be missing some crucial 2018 stuff if that's what you do.
It's true. I mean, you could do it on like the 30th, and you'd still be missing like 1/3%.
You'd be missing the
year.
always most important thing in Atlantic City, the Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve that the CRDA paid a bunch of money for and then didn't in any way attempt to actually make happen.
Awesome. I mean,
The
apparently
best part of Atlantic City.
the casinos really do it up for New Year's Eve. I've never been invited. This year I got a bunch of stuff from Hard Rock. Not like come get a room, but like come do all this stuff. But don't
And sleep on the boardwalk.
Yeah, sleep on the boardwalk, get a room in like Egg Harbor Township or something. You can figure that one out. We
Enjoy
do not.
yourself
Yeah.
at the Irish Pub Hotel.
I wonder if the Showboat sold out on New Year's Eve.
Probably.
That would be.
I would think of all the nights the Showboat would be sold out, it would be New Year's Eve. That seems like the night for their clientele.
I could actually get rooms at a couple, like not free, obviously, but Trop was sending me stuff that was like, you can pay $599 and get a room in the West Tower.
Yeah, we're both getting bored for like $629 or something like that as well.
Yeah, interesting.
Which is clearly better than paying
Tropicana.
$500+ for the West Tower.
Trop just
I'll
has
tell you.
so many rooms.
I'll give you a free preview. Best hotel room will not be the West Tower.
Boy. Nothing of consequence in 1989, so we don't need to do that.
Not too much. I heard the big thing that came up when I searched for it was there was and I don't even know if this was big news in 1989 or not, or just given the current political environment. It was just apparently the Rolling Stones played in December of 1989 in Boardwalk Hall, and they had some specific contract written that Donald Trump was not allowed to be on the premises while they played, and he still tried to come on the premises, and apparently their security almost had to get into like a knife fight with his security.
That's so weird. In 1989, at like the height of his like real estate, whatever. That's wild.
The one piece of sad news is that in 1989, that's when the 3 executives of the Trump properties in Atlantic City died in the helicopter crash. Isn't one of the arenas in Hard Rock still named after the one executive, Craig?
Yeah, it's the Mark Edis Arena. So now it's Hard Rock Live at Mark Edis Arena. So they kept the name. Yeah.
Right. So that's some things that happened in 1989. I don't think too much really super, I guess, directly relevant to us happened, though.
Okay. Should we get into some bests?
Yeah, let's.
Well, should we talk about the changes from last year? Or do people not care about that?
I don't think so. I think people just want to dive in. I mean, I don't think that all of our fans have out their notebooks to fill out along with us or anything. I don't think it's going to really throw too many people for a loop. I think we can just go for it.
Sure. I mean, the one thing worth mentioning, we did not do a listeners poll this year. Mainly, for me,
Laziness.
I felt like partly laziness, partly I felt like we'd just get mostly the same answers. I mean, it would have been interesting to hear differences between Hard Rock and Ocean and sort of thoughts on that. But otherwise, a lot of the categories would have just gotten all the same answers. So didn't necessarily feel like that's something that's worth doing every single year. And also laziness.
Yeah. All right. So our first category of 2018 is Best Table Games. It's a classic category. I think it'll be with us as long as we're doing this. And I selected Borgata, which I felt like it was pretty clearly the choice for me. I think the limits are reasonable. There's a couple red flags for them. I mean, I know that some people don't love the 3-4-5 odds at craps, and it's not like the lowest limits in the world, though I think for the quality of the property, the limits are definitely plenty sufficiently low. It's a really nice place to play table games, I think. So for me, I think it was Borgata.
Yeah, I agree. I might have gone with one of the new properties if we hadn't stayed there. I didn't stay, but if we hadn't gone in December and checked it out and really reaffirmed a lot of our feelings that made us enjoy the table games at Borgata. We had a really good craps cruise, good Paiga tiles, dealers. So the huge differentiator for me for Borgata over the other properties is like how good the crews are at just everything. Yeah.
I mean, it's really like that is just head and shoulders better than any of the other casinos in my experience. Like other casinos, it's like not frequently, but periodically you'll just get like a surly dealer or someone who's not really interested in talking to you, without any exceptions, I think that all of the crew at the Borgata are just always fantastic.
Yeah, so Caesars, I think, has a very good variety of table games, but yeah, the service is just not as good as Borgata, and also sort of the vibe of the place when you're sitting at a table playing table games, I don't think is nearly as good as Borgata. And I love Hard Rock for a lot of things, but their table limits are a little bit higher, like a lot of $15 craps. I have seen lower limits at times, but those tables are always just packed. So
I think Caesars has higher limits than Borgata does as well.
Really? In peak times, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what about your favorite topic, best slots?
No, I went first last time. You have to do it this time.
So I feel like most of the casinos have pretty good slots. Like there's not
It's not hard to buy a good slot machine to bring it in.
Yeah. But in terms of just the turnover and always having sort of new fun machines, I do think that Borgata still has the best slots. I mean, there are a lot of good options, but I do think Borgata has the best.
Yeah, and this is something that it's certainly more in your wheelhouse than me, but I also selected Borgata for best slots. And I think, like you said, it seems like they have the widest variety. And just, I feel like when you walk around their casino floor, there's tons of different slots. Like, I feel at other casinos, you can get kind of like the same slots all over or something like that, and it doesn't seem to happen at Borgata. And it's just, I don't know, there's something about them that it seems a bit more inviting at Borgata than at other casinos to me for some reason. And I don't know exactly why, but
yeah, the layouts I think better than a lot of places, just in terms of the slot machines don't feel totally crammed in, and that's really important. Hard Rock, they do a little bit. Ocean's fine, but I don't think there's quite the same variety. I will say, if your main focus in playing slots is like older 3-reel slots, like Resorts has a ton of those. Like that room off to the left of the food court, like if you're walking from the boardwalk to the left of the food court, it's sort of like a separated area. There's just a ton of old 3-reel slots there, and they do have a pretty good variety. But I mean, it's nowhere near as good as Borgata. Golden Nugget has a pretty good slot variety, but it is really tight in there.
I agree that I was actually thinking about that as well. I'm always impressed by the variety of slots that Golden Nugget has, and like Borgata, there's something about them that makes them seem a bit more inviting than at other properties.
And they also seem to get in really new stuff. Like every time I go there, I see slots that I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was a slot machine.
That would have been my runner-up, though. Yeah. And I think honestly the whole marina seems to somehow in my mind, again, I can't quantify why, but I think the whole marina does a better job with slots to me than the boardwalk casinos.
Yeah, I know. I think you had given yours.
I gave it to Harrah's, I remember, in the past.
Yeah.
All right. So the next category is Best Video Poker, and once again, I think that there's a clear choice, and it's Borgata. They have the most 9.6 quarter video poker. I mean, there's a couple machines in a few of the casinos, but Borgata still has quite a bit. I think if you like video poker, the B-Bar is by far the best place to go and play video poker if you want to do so at a video poker bar, which they also still have. Plenty 9-6, though we're not 100% sure exactly how many because some of them have been changed away. But to me, I think it has to be Borgata.
Yeah, I really wanted to give it to someone else because I know that Borgata's been downgrading, although, as we mentioned, I think last episode, not as much as VPFree2.com indicated. Like, they seem to think there are now only a few machines, like a bank of 4 here and a bank of 4 there.
No,
and that's just, yeah, we found 2 whole rows of full pay 9.6. It was moved, but it was just a couple rows away from where it used to be. So, yeah, I mean, even with those downgrades, like, it's still, as far as just a ton of variety in terms of, you know, they have a lot of machines. They have, like you said, the bar and the casino floor. Like, if you're just looking for full pay video poker, you got a lot of options there. So I think it's probably still the best place to play. I think Coach Kitty is probably the biggest video poker player I know of. Mm-hmm. I think she now plays at Golden Nugget, so that it probably means Golden Nugget also has very good video poker, but I haven't done much research there. I mean, I know they have some full pay, but just not the same number of machines as Borgata.
And here's the thing, I think for the first 3 categories, I think the intangible effect of Borgata just being a really nice property all around, it kind of boosts them in this realm. Because you could say, like, even if, like, maybe Golden Nugget, if they did have more 9-6, would that make it a better video poker place than Borgata, where you have all the other nice amenities at Borgata? I mean, I think it's a kind of a hard thing, but it's something that helps Borgata out a lot. Yeah,
it's true. I mean, even just focusing on just the video poker aspect, like, you have 9-6 over by the cashier's cage, you have 9-6 in the B-bar, I think there's 9-6 over by the buffet. So there's like if you don't like a certain spot, you can always jump to someplace else and find more 9-6. Whereas, you know, even Caesars, which I think has a pretty good variety of 9-6, but also progressives that can end up pretty decent in other games, it's pretty much just that one area. And if you don't really like that area, and it's kind of in the older feeling part of the casino floor, then you're kind of, you know, out of luck. So
I have a meta question for you, Craig, before we go on.
Okay.
I'm a bit surprised we agreed on number 2. What is the first question you think we're going to disagree on?
Oh, boy.
I think it might not be for a while. It could be number 5. It could be 2 away, I think. The next one we will certainly have the same answer, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we'll disagree. It could be
in a ways.
I will say Borg so far is 3 for 3. They will not win number 4.
No. Yeah.
It is.
Number 4 is one of the clearest victories, I think, for any casino. So number 4 is the best Asian gaming room, and you can go ahead and explain it for both of us.
Well, so first of all, Borgata doesn't even have a dedicated Asian gaming room, right?
Correct.
So I mean, I
they're
guess
disqualified straight away. We cannot give it to them legally.
But I mean, holy crap, Hard Rock's Asian room is absurdly gorgeous, and
it's fantastic.
Great service. They'll bring you a full pint of like Sierra Nevada and other craft beers. The chairs are like the most comfortable casino chairs I've ever sat in. What else? $20 Pygo poker and Pygo tiles. A lot of times it can get very crowded, so it can be hard to get on them. But
sometimes it's $40.
Yeah, but you know, $1 commissions if you can find it. So, yeah, what a great room. I mean, it's honestly where I think about when I think I want to be playing table games. Like that's the spot. So it's a big thing for Hard Rock for me. For me,
it's supplanted kind of my ideas. Like, if you could be in Atlantic City right now, where would you want to be? And I think it has to be the Asian Gaming Room in Hard Rock. I mean, that's the place in Atlantic City that I want to be. Yeah, if I could just get teleported somewhere.
It's so good. I mean, I remember the first time I walked into there, I was just like, oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. Like, this is like... especially because I wasn't so high on Hard Rock the first time I went as an entire property.
Right, because you didn't go to the Asian room.
But at first I was kind of like, it's fine. You know, I've grown to like it much more, but you walk into the Asian room and it just feels like you're being teleported to some really, really fancy high-level casino. So if you haven't been over there, like absolutely go play.
You need to do it. If you enjoy Pai Gow or Asian Poker or Baccarat or whatever, you need to go check out the Asian Gamer Room.
Yeah. Pygo Poker is very fast to learn. Figure it out just so you can go sit there for a little bit and enjoy it.
Or Baccarat, you just make a bet and then you win or lose. So there is no learning required.
Yeah, even if you don't know what is causing what to happen, they will just pay you because it's basically a coin flip, right?
Yeah. So no disagreement there. So the next category is Best Players Club. I wouldn't be surprised if we were different here. So
yeah, I'm struggling with this one.
I struggled, and here's kind of my thinking. I think there's a couple honorable mentions here. I think for Best kind of Players Club promotion that happened this year, I think it has to go for Hard Rock. I think their status match and their big push they did right when they opened to get as many people onto their books as possible, I thought that was a great deal. I think they've been incredibly generous this first year with stuff. I mean, the status match was just insane. It was so insane that Ocean had to just stop matching it. So I think that was a cool thing. I think the best Players Club, if you want a free room, it has to be Tropicana. They give away free rooms like water. There's no better place to get a free room if that's all you care about. If you just need a place to sleep, you can't do better than Tropicana. I think the best Players Club in terms of just getting match play is M Life and Borgata. I mean, I think they just give out match play like crazy. And, even you mentioned that you've gotten match play in the past when you did not think you deserve it, like $25 or $50, and I get an insane amount for what was a very small amount of play I put in there. So there's that. But I think overall, when you look at everything, and I even feel a bit silly that I'm going to say this, and you look at kind of the nationwide footprint, and you're looking at the stuff that I really care about and just how consistent they are with giving away free rooms and things like that, I think it has to be CET for me. I think that's the Players Club that I think is the best. I think if you're maybe not the newest of new players, but kind of a newer player, and you want to occasionally go to Vegas, which many people would, I think CET is probably the Players Club to join and the casino to try to play at.
So for those not familiar, CET is Caesars Entertainment.
Total Rewards.
Becoming Caesars Rewards, I think, on February 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So it's worth mentioning that Total Rewards has made changes over the last couple of years and really started bringing down some of the higher status.
It is worse. If you are a very high roller, Total Rewards is probably not the property you want to play at, because you're going to get whatever you want from any of the properties. So it's kind of like a totally different category if you're, like, let's say naturally diamond or above, if you're that level player.
Right. And so Eric Rosenthal, who's been on our podcast a couple of times, has said this on Vegas Confessions. I think he said it other places, basically, where at the level he's playing, he is going to basically get the things he wants,
always
like free room
and
that kind of stuff,
and
get food and stuff anywhere. And he has a national host also, so he doesn't even have to worry about the network situation. Like, somebody's going to find him a place to stay, a free room at a casino, no matter where he goes, because they've got the national network that's unaffiliated with with a specific chain or whatever. So this one I really struggle with, because Total Rewards, I think, does have the benefit of that national network, but for me personally, I don't get much benefit out of that anymore.
True.
I mean,
I think that's fair. Neither do I, obviously.
I mean, you go to Horseshoe.
I go to Horseshoe, and Horseshoe gives away comps like crazy.
Yeah, so Horseshoe Baltimore we're talking about.
Yes.
But I go to Horseshoe Baltimore maybe once a year, maybe. And it was nice to be able to just like pop into the Diamond Lounge, but really anybody, like, they aren't blocking people at the door at the Diamond Lounge, so anybody can go in there.
Sometimes.
There's
but you don't give free.
They can't give you free drinks, so it's basically just going and there's a bunch of like really top shelf liquor that you can buy. So I feel like I would have to say, as far as just general who has the best benefits, I think I would have to give it to Total Rewards just because they have the most benefits. But I'm looking at it more in terms of like if somebody's saying, I want to go to AC and play in AC regularly, where should I go to get the best reward for my Players Club? Because there are a lot of options. You mentioned Tropicana, like they're going to give you a lot of free rooms for very little play. Ocean has been giving a lot of free rooms for very little play. I'm not even in Ocean, so I feel like I can't pick that. I'm not in their Players Club yet. But just, knowing what my brother got for his level of play, the status matching that they've done, even their like lower down status matching where they're not matching all the Rock Royalty members up to their top tier black, it's still seems like it's really good deals.
I think Hard Rock's been pretty generous as well. I mean, that's some pretty decent deals. Yeah,
so I think I have to go with Hard Rock because they are in their status match, and we're saying best of 2018. That status match was in 2018. It was huge.
It was bonkers.
It was whatever. What was it? 150 free play. Was it more than that? Was it 250? I think it was 150.
Two nights unrestricted.
Yeah, including in the summer. And then when I first status matched and made a reservation, actually before I status matched, they had that deal where you could just call and say, I'm Diamond, and make a reservation. I'm Total Rewards Diamond, or I'm M Life Gold, or whatever, and they would let you make a reservation for one night. A host reached out to me, and I asked him a question about the resort fee. And he was like, yeah, it's not waived, but I think you'll find that we give comp dollars incredibly fast. And that has absolutely been my experience. Like the comp dollars that you rack up there, for me at least, and for what I play, seems to be significantly faster than Total Rewards, M-Life, or any of the other properties. So certainly resorts. So that I think all of that together makes Hard Rock my pick for 2018. That being said, next year when there's like they're not doing that big first wave status match and room offer and all that kind of stuff, and who knows how they'll change their generosity in the summer. Might not be them, but I think as far as who gave the most in 2018, I have to give Hard Rock.
I mean, so here's my one complaint with that towards you. Like, you've given Hard Rock like reasonably generous play, I think, by your standards, right? Like, every time you've been there, you've done pretty decently in terms of play. Like, again, by your standards.
Not my second. My second trip was a typical trip for me, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of free rooms are you getting now?
Sunday through Thursday, I think, off peak. So no Friday, no Saturday.
And on the other hand, like, you've freely admitted like the incredibly embarrassing level of play you've been giving Caesars. And what kind of free rooms are you getting there?
Sunday through Thursday.
Yeah, right. And like maybe even a Friday every once in a while, right?
Yeah. Decent number of Fridays, sure.
Right. I mean, I think that is a factor that should be taken into account. I'm not arguing with your pick, but I think if you are someone who wants a free room, there are certainly worse places to go than Caesars.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, Caesars is, I had to make this choice sort of in spite of the free rooms that are available both at Caesars and at Tropicana, who is just ridiculously generous with free rooms.
Right.
So, yeah, but I think the other perks and what they did in 2018 pushes them over the top. So I don't know if that's going to be ongoing, but for me, for 2018, that's who I'm going with.
All right. That's fair. So the next category is Best Casino Service. Do you want to take that away, Craig? Or
Sure. So the Best Casino Service, I think we've just got to say board rate. Like, it's never bad. Like, it's very good. I've had very good service at Hard Rock. I've had drinks. There was one night that I was there where drinks were just constant, like so incredibly fast. And then I've had other times where you go to order a drink and it takes a long time. I mean, when it first opened, I think that's a little forgivable when we went on June 28th, the day that it actually opened. But I think it's Borgata. I think Caesars has very good service on the casino floor, but for me, Borgata's a little bit ahead.
All right. So for me, I think that there's a couple of runners up, and then I'll kind of give you my selection. So, like you said, I think Hard Rock is somewhere that when you're in the Asian room, I think it's insane. I think it's second to none. Like, the drink service is so consistent, and the drinks that you get are so fantastic, and the dealers are very good. And I've had just a ton of great experiences there. But I think on the rest of the floor, it's like very hit or miss.
Yes, extremely.
And then I think my other runner-up is Borgata. I mean, I think we've said that they have the best table game crew, and I don't think it's especially close. I think that's far and away their big advantage. But for me, I think I've had hit or miss drink service at Borgata as well, including on my last trip, where there was definitely plenty of times that I've been looking around for what seemed like hours without a waitress coming.
At tables?
At tables.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because we had that a little bit when we were playing Pygo tiles. We had to get the dealer to call the waitress over. And then once she came over regularly. But you're right. And I'm assuming you had more of that the next day.
Yeah, there was more of that kind of after you left as well, and the next morning when I really needed to get some caffeine into my body. And there's just like a wasteland of waitresses. So, but I mean, Borgata is also excellent by and large. But for me, I had to go with Caesars. I think that while the table game crews aren't quite as good as they are at Borgata, and they're definitely not, I think that the drink service is consistently outstanding there no matter where you are, and I think the ability to order those drinks at slot machines really gives them a leg up. I mean, I know that we've all had the experience of sitting at the video poker machines right next to the door where the waitresses come out, and the service you can get there. I think for me, when you take everything into account, it's probably Caesars.
Yeah, I mean, if you value drink service above all else, I think Caesar's going away.
Yeah,
and
unquestionably the best crews are at Borg. I will say that.
Yeah, and
without hesitation.
So our last trip, I popped into Caesar's because I was taking the bus from Bally's, and I had free play at Caesar's. So I popped in, I sat at a machine. I wasn't at one of the video poker machines right by the door. I was in one of the sort of wasteland machines underneath the lobby. And I seriously put my card in, loaded up my free play, ordered a drink, and I think it maybe flashed like order processing for a second, and then it was like, your drink's on its way. And I was like, I don't even understand how that's possible. Like, between sitting down and putting my card in and having a drink in front of me, I think it was like 4 minutes. It was ridiculous. Because when I first ordered, I was like, I'm not really sure that this drink is going to come before I have to go to the bus. And it came like 20 minutes before I had to go to the bus.
Yeah, no, it's bonkers.
Yeah, so, absolutely, the drink service, anytime I'm sitting and playing, especially machines at Caesars, I'm just like blown away. And also at the craps pits, like the waitresses are around all the time. Like, that's one thing that they absolutely nail.
Yep. So no huge complaint with my choice?
No, not at all. So we haven't been arguing at all yet, for real. Like,
no,
we're both
even when we have different choices, we can kind of understand the other person's perspective.
We need to get
it
some
hasn't gotten
disagreement
contentious yet. Well, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be on the next category, which is best hotel rooms. For me, there's really only one choice, and it's not especially close. I think by far the best hotel rooms in the city are in Ocean. You walk in them, they're spectacular is really the only word. The floor to ceiling windows, the views, just how nice and new and modern they are, and everything is like really beautiful in them. For me, it's one of the biggest blowout categories that we've had, even though I think I've said that for 3 or 4 of these categories already. I mean, for me, it's just incredibly clear. It has to be Ocean.
Which is funny because a couple of years ago, and even last year, we would have said it's a pretty big blowout for Borgata. But obviously with 2 new properties, it's gotten a lot closer. I agree. I only stayed one night in Ocean, but the room was spectacular. The weird thing is I love both rooms I've had in Hard Rock, and they just call to me in a way that I feel like even the Ocean rooms don't. Like, they're more unique. I've mentioned over and over again, I love the Hard Rock accents and that kind of stuff. I think it's very cool. But, we're talking best of, and the best rooms in 2018 were absolutely the Ocean rooms.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I do have to say, we talked about this on the last episode when we did our trip report. The Borgata rooms are also very nice. Even the lowest level Borgata room is a nice room. I said that my room was getting a little long in the tooth. They just need to switch some furniture out and stuff. I think it'll be back up to like pretty spectacular, but there's nothing they can do to make it match the views and the windows and everything in Ocean. And like you said too, I think they've done a spectacular job getting all those old Taj rooms up to date in the Hard Rock, and it's also a great place to stay, but Ocean is second to none.
Yeah.
I mean, Ocean might have the nicest rooms in casinos, period, in the country. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, they are spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, I'm sure there are some like strip view. I've never stayed at a Wynn property.
Yeah, I've never stayed at the Wynn either. That's
I'm
kind
guessing
of,
that
to me I mean, when people talk about the nicest rooms in Vegas, they talk about the Wynn. But I haven't stayed there. But I'm telling you, just maybe the overall experience at the Ocean is, I'm positive, not nearly as good as at the Wynn. But the room itself and the view, it's just phenomenal. So you're up next for best on-site dining, which I think there's kind of 2 choices, and it was very tough. But go ahead, enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have to just give it to Borgata just in terms of a variety. I don't think they have a lot in terms of the lower end, so I could see a very strong argument for Tropicana. In my mind, Tropicana is very like middle tier focused, right? And even low end. Like
Yeah.
it's got Hooters and it's got Chickies and Pete's and it's got
You're not helping your argument, Craig.
and it's got all these, like, you know, a damn good sports bar and all this stuff. But it also now has all those Okache and Bar Olan and Olan and other good stuff. Ah, man. I don't know.
Okay, do you want me to go and you can mull it over?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So, like Craig said, I think there's two real options here. And maybe I think Hard Rock deserves some sort of honorable mention. They've certainly opened up a lot of restaurants on that property, and it's worth mentioning that they're probably right there as well. And special shout out because they have the
Hard
White
Rock
House.
Cafe. Oh,
Yes, the Hard Rock Cafe, of course.
yeah, White House.
Yeah, they have the White House, which is definitely a big draw for a lot of people. And I personally like White House. I know that you do not like it, but you're
I don't
wrong.
dislike it. It's fine.
So
It's just not my favorite.
I think it really depends on what you want. I think, and I'm actually going to go against what I have written down here and what I had planned out ahead of time. I thought a bit more about it. So if you really want like high end dining, Borgata is just second to none. You know, they have an insane lineup of really great kind of pricey-ish restaurants that just, I don't think if you take the nice pricey restaurants and all of the other casinos combined, they could really beat Borgata, I mean. But for me, I think the place with the best dining that I'm really interested in has to be Tropicana. I mean, their selection is insane. The number of restaurants they have is insane, and they're all right in that price point that I really appreciate. And they're all kind of in the style that I really appreciate. So for me, I think I have to go Tropicana with places like Olan and Okacha, like you mentioned.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, so I'm trying to think, like, what am I the most excited about going to restaurant-wise? And certainly Borgata has a bunch of stuff, you know, Izakaya. It's got, not that I've ever gone, but, you know.
Yeah, Bobby Flay and Wolfgang Puck and
Old
Michael
Homestead.
Simon's place. And
yeah, but also, you know, I would be equally excited about going to Okacha or Bar Olan. I mean, we've enjoyed our time
been to
at Bar
Bar-Olan tons, yeah.
But part of me feels like the one thing that Borgata really brings is a bunch of different sort of, they call like celebrity chefs. You know,
yeah.
Michael Simon's certainly a celebrity chef, Wolfgang Puck, Bobby Flay, but
Right.
they also have some other chefs, like the Izakaya. I don't know offhand what the guy's name is, but, you know,
Right.
well-known, like, very good chefs.
Yeah, Borgata is very much like a Las Vegas property in terms of the restaurant selection. It's just a who's who of the celebrity chefs, unlike all the other properties, which are kind of, you know, you go to a CET property, you're going to have a million Gordon Ramsay restaurants. Right. You know, you go to Tropicana, you're going to have a million Jose Garces restaurants, you know, whatever.
So, you know, I think on the day-to-day, like, if I was going to stay someplace for, like, 6 days, I would probably go to, like, a more variety of restaurants at Tropicana. But if I'm just, like, off the top of my head, what am I, like, really excited about going to? It's probably more stuff at Borgata. So I'm going to give it to Borgata.
All right. Well, there we go. So I changed my mind from Borgata to Trop, and you convinced yourself that it was Borgata.
Yeah. Your
All
favorite
right, so-
category, on-site
Yes,
bars.
the next category, which I tried to get cut out of this, but was told no. Best on-site bars. I think the winner is none of the above because you can get alcohol for free at the tables. So, no. So, I think for me, you know, I said it kind of tongue-in-cheek, but for me, honestly, like, one of the places that I think of when I think of, like, what is Atlantic City to me, and, like, what is a bar that, even though it's a crappy bar, where do I want to be at? And that's, you know, good enough to make it the runner-up for me, I think is, like, when I think of bars in Atlantic City, I have to think of the Mountain Bar, right?
Yes.
Like, you just have to. Like, it's so iconic. It's so perfect. You know, you've personally spent a lot of time playing video poker at the Park Place kind of video poker bar.
Yeah.
In the lobby. There's the, whatever the other bar right next to the Mountain Bar is that we went to once.
Boardwalk Saloon, yeah.
Was very medium. So I think Bally's does deserve some runner-up status, but I think it has to be Borgata. I mean, you know, I talked about how the food service at Long Bar wasn't perfect, but it was good. They have the beer garden outside, but to me, the thing that just pushes them over the top is B-Bar, still spectacular. They've cut back some on the video poker payouts, but the service was fantastic when we went, and I think it has to be Borgata.
I wouldn't say, you know, I think Tropicana is very, very good, just in terms of the number of bar spaces they have.
Like Chickies and Pete's, etc.
Yeah, and I mean they've got a lot of like dedicated bars. Like they've got the Tangos, which I actually don't particularly love that space, but
yeah. What's the space downstairs with like 100 beer taps? Is that Tangos or is it
no?
else?
Oh, they just changed the name of that. Well, it's Firewaters downstairs. Yeah, so they've got that. They've got the tequila bar downstairs. Firewaters, they changed the theme. It's now like a wet country western theme. So Trop has a ton. My favorite single bar right now is probably the Hard Rock Center Bar, as far as where I just want to sit, because you can sit there and hear the live music that's going on in Hard Rock. The Hard Rock Lobby Bar is also very cool. They always have
where else
live
you
music
can sit there and hear the live music that's going on? Mountain Bar.
That's true. So, yeah, I mean, there is definitely... I feel like there's a lot to like at Hard Rock, but I think I'm actually going to go Tropicana because of the variety. I mean, the lack of a good video poker bar is not the best, but they do just have a ton of bars. Like, there's so much drinking space there.
There's a lot of bars. There's certainly a lot of nightclubs there as well, if that's kind of your thing.
Yeah.
Which we will not be ranking best nightclubs because we are not qualified to do so. But
right. The Sportsbook Bar at Ocean's also very good. For what it's worth.
It is good. Before we got rid of best sportsbook, I mean, I think we can just say we both would have selected Ocean, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a ridiculously amazing sportsbook.
So, for me, I know I said that when I think of like where do I want to be in Atlantic City right now, it's probably the Asia Room at Hard Rock. But come on, Craig, like the Mountain Bar, like how happy would you be to be at the Mountain Bar right now?
It's one of those things where it's like we've probably spent more time at that bar than any other bar.
It's like such an amazing, iconic place, just specifically to me when I think of Atlantic City. It's just like the sheer joy I would feel like thinking of myself in the Mountain Bar.
Right, but that's all for like nostalgia purposes, right?
I mean, it's cool.
It has a train.
Yeah, it has a train. It has $5 table games right next to it.
That's true. It has very cheap beer and stuff.
Where would you be if you could be anywhere in Atlantic City right now?
Probably playing video poker at the Center Bar at Hard Rock.
Foolish.
It's not even like great. It's like 8-5 video poker. It's not even great video poker.
Go to the B bar is better, man.
I just like the vibe of the Center Bar better than the B bar.
Plus, you complained last time that we didn't have the waitresses we had at the previous time at the B bar, which
That's true.
is definitely was strict downside.
Yeah. I mean, I think I can have fun at pretty much any video poker bar. Like, I don't think the Bally's lobby bar is like objectively very nice, but the service is good at all the video poker bars. So
yeah,
you know.
I mean, there's a certain like it's a much higher bartender to person ratio than a normal bar, I think.
Yeah, so like I've been at that Hard Rock Center Bar at times when it's like packed, but there are 4 bartenders at that bar. Like just you can get drinks as fast as you want. So
all right.
Best value for low rollers is our 10th category.
I think that's you, man. You do all the even ones.
There are a lot of options here.
there's a crazy amount of options.
Atlantic City's very good for low rollers, I think.
Oh, it's perfect. I mean, I think when you compare it to something like Vegas and you look at the rules in Atlantic City and the relative lack of things like 6-5 blackjack and the availability of full pay video poker, it just blows Vegas out of the water. There's just tons of good options for low rollers.
Yeah, I mean, certainly people are listening to this who love going to Vegas and are saying, well, what about downtown? And they have all that stuff. But, that's a different...
That's a different city, man. That's not Vegas. It's like something else.
It's like the difference between the boardwalk and the marina, except way further apart.
Yes. Moderately further apart.
I want to give it to resorts because I feel like that's what I think of in my mind as a low roller casino, but I actually think it's one of 2 places that are not resorts right now. And that is either Tropicana, just because of the ridiculous amount of stuff that they will give you for low rolling. Although, that being said, their table minimums are not great. Like, the table minimums
they're medium.
Are way better at resorts.
I mean, they're not bad. They're medium.
And Bally's, who has just gone all out on the low roller thing with the Wild Wild West stuff for $5. The drink specials everywhere. I mean, 100 times odds on craps, which is not really low roller thing necessarily, except
But the low roller has multiple meanings. It could be someone who doesn't want to spend a lot of money, or it can be someone who is trying to get the least house edge possible.
Yeah, that's a good point. Although I think if you're backing up your $5 bet with 500,
lowest house edge.
You're probably not.
Name me a better way to spend $505 in Atlantic City.
That's a good point.
That has a lower house edge than that. There's not too many.
Yeah. I think I have to say Bally's just because I think that $5 tables all the time, man. Like, that's nuts. There's nowhere else in Atlantic City doing that. And so between that and all the drink specials and stuff that they've got all the time where you can get, $3 and $4 beers, which, I don't know. If you're not in New York City, that probably doesn't sound that exciting. Like, that's every bar in Baltimore, but...
Right.
But no, I think Bally's
Some are fine.
earned it this year. And I've crapped on Bally's a lot this year, I feel like, but for that one purpose, they're very good.
I'm right there with you. I think Bally's is way up there. It's probably the second best. But for me, I think value for low rollers is more than just a strict value equation that you need to do. It also has to be like enjoyability of the property. And for me, resorts is so much higher than Bally's, and the limits are similar. I mean, certainly in Wild Wild West, they have those $5 tables that you're not going to find anywhere else in Atlantic City. But otherwise, I think resorts is probably slightly lower limits than what you'll find in the Park Place. The rules are a bit better than what you'll find in the Park Place. I think that they give out, a sufficient amount of free rooms, probably slightly less than Bally's does, but it's good enough. And just, there's a lot of like decent, cheap food there. There's the Dunkin' Donuts, which is cheaper than the Bally's Dunkin' Donuts, I think.
It is, for sure.
Ruby's Dinette, I've eaten at many times. It's a perfectly acceptable thing to get at midnight when you're kind of drunk and just need some food.
Bally's has real deal barbecue right here on the boardwalk for you low rollers.
You need to do the whole spiel if you're gonna.
I don't remember the whole spiel.
Yeah,
I know it's something about tell me you wouldn't dig on some ribs, mac and cheese, and a nice cold beer right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Bally's does have a lot of low roller stuff also, I think, like food-wise.
No. Bally's is perfectly acceptable, I think.
And you just said how much you love spending time at the Mountain Bar, so, you're here shitting on...
But that's the Mountain Bar, right? There's another side of Bally's, and that's the Park Place. And there's nowhere in Atlantic City I want to be less than the Park Place. Maybe Golden Nugget, but that would be it.
Oh, no. I mean, you're right. Like, the last few times I've been in Bally's Park Place,
it is awful.
I've sat down and I used to spend a lot of time there for sure. Like, just because it was low roller central. They had a lot of full pay video poker. And I never minded it. Like, I always thought it was fine. And it was always sort of what I thought of as, like, that's the first place I would go in Atlantic City because they have the most buses there. So I come out, I use my slot play, I hang out there for a bit. And it was always fine, but I don't know if it's just the other stuff has gotten so much better.
I think that's it. I think it's kind of the same as it's always been, but there's just so much more to kind of see and do in Atlantic City now that it's just not an interesting place to be. I mean, it would be fine. I'd be perfectly happy if I was sitting at, some of the video poker machines, like the nice new ones near the Bally's Tower right now. Like, I think they're fairly nice. I think that there's some nice-ish, medium-ish table games. I've played a Pai Gow in their little Asian room they have and stuff. But it's not as delightful to be in as resorts, for sure.
Yeah, and so whenever I'm there in the Park Place side, and I'm totally fine with the Wild Wild West side, I like it. I'm always like, I could be anywhere else in Atlantic City. Like, this is not the optimal use of my Atlantic City time.
No.
So that's kind of harsh. I mean, I still think I stand by my low roller pick. One thing that does really bother me about sitting in Bally's Park Place is that they're always playing like late 90s pop stuff that's like, so you'll be sitting there and like Natalie and Bruglia will pop on, or like the old Goo Goo Dolls songs, and you're like, what is this? Like, why is this on all the time?
Of Goo Goo Dolls.
And I just like,
I'm like, man, this is a lot of 7th grade in my life right now.
So there's something about like that music just like didn't age well at all, and so there's something about it that I'm always like, it feels like just nobody bothered to come change the music for the last 20 years. Like, somebody was supposed to be on that, and they were just like, never happened. It feels like very appropriate for the casino, and that's not a good thing.
I'll use this joke I haven't used with you for probably like 8 years, but it's not as good as Wild Wild West, where it's just all Country Boy Can Survive.
Oh, Country Boy Can Survive. That used to be like
That was like the number one joke we had with each other, I think.
Yeah, so that song though used to come on like a lot in the Wild West. You knew that it was going to come on if you were there for more than an hour.
I haven't heard it in forever.
Yeah, I don't
Do
know.
they even play country music a lot in Wild West anymore?
I'm not sure. That would be, I mean, that'd be kind of disappointing.
There used to be a lot of Country Boy Can Survive in Wild West. Yeah, I don't think they must not. I don't really remember.
I used to love Wild
they have a lot of
West,
live music there, but
yeah, Wild West when it was full of table games and they had like a separate video poker, like dedicated video poker room. They had a Keno lounge when it was just like crowded and full and vibrant. What a great place! I miss it. All themed out and awesome. The best.
All right.
What are we even on? Most improved?
Oh boy, do I have to go?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I've written down.
This is a tough
and I'll
one.
let you try to convince me that I'm wrong. But, I spent some time thinking about all these today. And when you talk about most improved casino properties, like plenty of properties, a lot of the places in Atlantic City are making kind of incremental improvements and trying to, this corner of the casino wasn't optimally done and we're going to fix it, or like we're going to change out this restaurant for a different restaurant. But I think for me to give out something like most improved, there has to be like a significant improvement to a casino. And I just don't think it happened this year. I wrote down none as the answer. I don't think any casino's kind of gone above and beyond to the level that makes me feel like that this is something that any casino should get.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to cheat, you could say, Hard Rock obviously is a giant improvement.
Yeah, Hard Rock and Ocean are ineligible for this reward.
Right. Yeah. So, but I think you can't name them.
No.
I mean, as far as who is investing a ton in making their property better,
Tropicana. Always,
yeah, it's Tropicana. Like they're just constantly updating the rooms there. Resorts obviously put a bunch of money into rooms, but I don't think they've done a ton else in the past year.
Yeah, and I do have to say that every time I've stayed at resorts, and I stayed at resorts this year in March, and it was a very nice room again. So, I mean, certainly it's worth mentioning them as they are seemingly continuing to just put money into the property, which is a bit surprising given, where they're always like second to last in every single month of revenue. But, I mean, so definitely props to them. I mean, they are investing in their property despite it seeming like they'd have an excuse not to invest in the property. Harrah's is always investing in the property, although I have to say, I thought about it. I don't know if I've stepped foot in Harrah's in 2018.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. I think...
Which is just shocking. If you had told me that, but, I'd go to Atlantic City 5 or 6 times in a year and not step foot in Harrah's, 5 years ago, I would just be like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, for most improved, I think I sort of have to give it to Tropicana by default, even though, I mean, you could make the argument that one of the most major improvements that you can make is adding a sports book. Resorts has added a sports book. Golden Nugget has added a fairly nice sports book, but I don't know. I think as far as just overall, like, Tropicana is just constantly tweaking stuff and fixing it and making the rooms better. And so I think just in general, it's like, maybe it's a Lifetime Achievement Award for them, but it's really reflected in the revenue, right? Like they are, you said a bunch of times, like the real success story over the past few years in terms of like going from a place where they were in rough shape to now being third or second
second.
Yeah,
almost always every single month they're almost always second.
Yeah, so I'll give it to Tropicana, but I understand your MA.
I think it's fair. I think that Tropicana does every single year. They make some improvements and they do some stuff and they switch some stuff out, and it's always moving in the right direction. I think we mentioned resorts. I think it's worth mentioning them as well. And like I said, Harrah's would probably be the third one, that they're always trying to improve that property there. Although, like I said, I don't think I've been there this year.
So, best casino property overall?
Yeah.
This is a tough one.
I don't think it's that tough.
What? You're so sure about Bally's.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I actually think it's resorts.
I would hear an argument for resorts.
It's a great property. I mean, legitimately. But so we talked to Eric, who obviously is someone who goes to Atlantic City even more than we do, I think, or at least in the past has been. And he said that he thinks that it's Ocean now, after some hemming and hawing. I don't know. What do you think? I know. I'm sure you can imagine what I'm going to say. I don't think it's going to be a big surprise to you. So I'm going to see if you and Eric come up with 3 different answers.
That'd be interesting. I mean, my favorite is Hard Rock right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as a whole package, it's an excellent package. So I'm sort of trying to think if I can really justify that answer, even though, we've given just about all the best gambling to Borgata.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get best casino service or best hotel rooms or best dining or best bars or best roller rollers. Like, what really is it that makes them so good? But I feel like we've been in this situation also in the past where we said it's Borgata outright, and like Caesars is close, but like similarly, it's the whole package of Caesars. Like, we just enjoyed our time at Caesars a lot, which I actually don't necessarily feel so strongly about anymore. But for me, and I don't know if it's just the novelty of the newness or whatever, but I really like the rooms. To me, they're like, again, like I said, where I want to be. I just love the sort of vibe of everything in the casino. And then the Asian room is so good. The center bar I love so much. I think my favorite that I want to spend the most time in is the Hard Rock, and that, all the upstairs stuff that they added, which I would probably consider fairly minor at another casino, like, the marketplace at Borgata. But there's so much up there, like White House, like you mentioned, and burger place, pizza place, various places where you can get breakfast stuff in the morning. The lounge that's up above the guitar. And really, that's the other thing that I want to talk about is Hard Rock did a lot to make that space worth wandering around. And the only other casino that I really feel that way about in Atlantic City is Borgata. Like, there's stuff interesting to look at in Borgata. Ocean obviously has the ocean views, but like the most interesting casino to just wander and see stuff is Hard Rock.
I mean, I think there are arguments if you're on the 6th floor or whatever, or the 11th floor. 11th floor. That's the hotel lobby at Ocean, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
there is a lot to
just
walk around there.
Spectacular.
Yeah, especially in the summer.
The entirety of it is just beautiful, and the walkways outside and the views and the pool and, everything else. Like, certainly if there was best hotel lobby, Ocean would win in a landslide.
Yeah, and even their outdoor, like, patio space with the big Adirondack chairs or whatever they are, where you can just lounge out there and look out at the ocean. Like, that's incredible.
So I will agree with you to a point. I think Hard Rock, as you indicated, or as you kind of, you beat around the bush a little bit, but the sum really is greater than the parts at Hard Rock. I think their cohesive idea for a property like really shines through, and it really does help improve all the parts of the property. They don't have the nicest almost anything other than Asia Room in Atlantic City, but the property as a whole, it's just a really great place to be. The rooms aren't the nicest, but they're very nice, and it just fits in with, the gambling they have and the restaurants and everything. Like, they don't have a black mark anywhere on them. But for me, the real differentiator is, I'm a gambling focused guy. I think other than the Asia Room, the gambling is just so much better at Borgata that I have to give it to Borg. I think the restaurants are better. I think the rooms are similar, let's say, at least the basic rooms. I think Borgata's, while they could use an upgrade, they're classic, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough debate for me between them and Borgata.
And just like, so the real differentiator is, it's like if I'm just anywhere on the floor, just anywhere at all, playing a random slot machine, playing a random table game, and I'm at Borgata, like, I know I'm having a good time. If I'm at somewhere random, like a random table game at Hard Rock, like, the normal floor is kind of meh for me.
Yeah,
and that's like the big downside.
Yeah,
or like if I'm just like out on the floor somewhere playing a slot machine, like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like a good time to me.
I like it, but I think you have to appreciate sort of like the big guitar chandelier and all that kind of stuff to really feel that way. And I agree, like, Borgata just sort of oozes class and like just is so well thought out in terms of where everything is. And you're right, there's really not a space that you're going to sit where you just feel like, oh, this is kind of odd, or like this does not feel quite right. Which I don't think you can say that about any other casino. Like, even Ocean, I've sat at a table where I was like, this is kind of like a strange spot for this table. So, yeah, I mean, the other thing you mentioned, Ocean, I would certainly. I think they certainly deserve consideration, but it feels like kind of an incomplete for me. Like, it feels like they still have stuff they have to do.
I agree with that. I mean, I think the big problem with Ocean is, I've been there a few times, and it just seems like, I mean, it's beautiful. It's the most beautiful property in Atlantic City, and the rooms are spectacular, as we mentioned, and the whole 11th floor is just amazing, and they've got a pretty reasonable run of restaurants on the property, and by all accounts, the gambling is fine there, right? I mean, I think it's actually like they're very generous with their players, and that's drawn a lot of people in. But there's just always like, I don't know, like some weird things come up, like, the drink lady doesn't come for 2 hours, or like it takes me 3 hours to eat at the cafe there, or Distrito is closed at 9 p.m. on opening night for no reason.
Yeah.
It's just like, or we go to the steakhouse downstairs to get cocktails, and it's like A, totally empty, and B, like still the service isn't like spectacular. It's just like there's always like weird service issues, it seems like there.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the main knock on Ocean as a whole, is just kind of service at both the restaurants and on the casino floor is not amazing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I think as far as potential, like Ocean could and potentially should be the best, right? But it just needs to work on some stuff. And who knows, we've got a rumor now that maybe...
Yeah. There are rumors that it's been sold. Yeah. So I don't know. As of tonight, there's some rumors, but there's certainly nothing concrete, and we'll talk about it in the next news episode. We don't want to get into that, but we'll have to see what happens with Ocean. Certainly it being sold is better than it closing again, which seems like it would have been in the offing if this doesn't happen, but who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. So should we move on to some food and drink categories? So
would you pick, are you official down for Hard Rock?
Yeah. So Hard Rock for me, Borgata for you,
Ocean
Eric said Ocean. So we did come up with 3 different things.
But I'm right, and you two are wrong. So
as is usual, I feel.
Let's just get through some food and drink stuff. So the first category is best restaurant that we've been to. So Craig, is that the best restaurant that we've been to in the year of our Lord 2018? Or?
No. So I think we've had this discussion before, and basically like something, maybe you have your favorite restaurant experience or whatever, and something would have to unseat it, in the future. So
if that's the case for me, it's got to be Doc's. I think I talk about this every year. I've only been there once, but it was just a really great experience. The food was great. The service was impeccable, just from the valet to getting in the door to the waiter and everything that went along with it. It was really just superb. And, I was there with my wife, and they just treated us really great. And I just had a marvelous experience there. And, I unfortunately just haven't had the opportunity to get back there, but that was the best restaurant experience I've had in Atlantic City, and honestly, one of the best I've had anywhere.
So, do you know what other places you've gone, like, upscale in 2018? Like, do you have any idea, like, other than Kuro, which we went to together? So that's one.
Which was not an excellent service experience.
Is there anything that you feel like you had this year that was really good, or did you not even make it too much?
Let me think. In 2018, so this isn't upscale. It's not upscale at all. But when me and you and our friend Andy went to Kauai, that was a really fantastic experience. That was amazing. Like, the service was good. The food was, I thought, spectacular. Like, that was really fantastic. I'm partial towards kind of these noodle bars anyway, so it doesn't take a whole lot for me to be impressed. But I thought Kauai was excellent. That was probably the best dining experience in Atlantic City I had in 2018, I'd say.
So I don't even really love Asian food in general. That was the best Asian food I've ever eaten. Like, I thought it was excellent. I agree completely that Kauai was very good. I really liked Sky Cafe, eating there with my brother. I don't think I would call it, the best restaurant in Atlantic City. I had good lounge experiences, but I don't think you can really include those, like Amphora Lounge at Borgata, Legends Lounge at Hard Rock. I really enjoyed both of those. I know you had scent issues at Amphora Lounge.
No one commented and backed me up.
Yeah. So the other thing,
it's just me.
Guy Fieri's Shop House at Bally's was sort of the, I guess, more traditional as traditional as something Guy can be. Upscale restaurant I went to, and it was very good, but I certainly would not put it in the same realm as my previous picks, which have been Continental and Izakaya. So, for me, just as far as like what I think about, the meals that I think about the most often, I would actually say like the 3 AC meals I think about the most often are probably the dinner at Nero's, just because it was such a like quintessential Atlantic City thing to do. Although I wouldn't really say that it's the best restaurant in AC.
It's somehow the best restaurant in AC and the worst restaurant in Las Vegas.
Izakaya at Borgata, and actually like that Kwai meal, that lunch that we had at Kwai. So
man, Kwai, high marks from you. I mean, yeah. I said it was the best meal I had in 2018 in Atlantic City as well.
So I'm going to stick with Izakaya just because I think it is so good, and I really really want to go back. It hasn't happened yet, but we did actually try to go, and it was closed the day we went when we were super full. Which it would have been perfect for that, like small plates, Asian small plates. That would have been great. But
yeah,
I'm going to stick with Izakaya. I think it's really good, and it doesn't really get enough love either.
Yeah. All right. So Docs and Izakaya, but both of us best meal of 2018. We both agree. Kwai.
Yeah, interestingly enough, and
surprising.
Not to knock Guys, but Guys was very good. It's just like understandably polarizing, I feel, and I would say if I didn't have the celebration dinner, but if I wasn't paying with mostly comps, like I probably would have had a slightly different view. It was very good, but it wasn't like on the level of Nero's or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And I don't even consider Nero's to be my favorite. So, yep. What else we got in food and beverage?
So what is the best restaurant for cheap eats in the city, Craig?
Ooh, such a good question. There's so many options, again, because we've talked about AC is great for low rollers. There's also great restaurants for low rollers. We have one that I feel like we could probably go to more than others, right?
Hero Souvlaki?
Yeah, Bill's Hero Souvlaki. It's very good.
That certainly we go there cheap all the time, and certainly it is the cheapest eats.
Yeah, so I think, for me, I'm thinking cheap eats starting at like what you'd think of as like a chain restaurant and below, like price-wise. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't have to be like, a slice shop on the boardwalk. It doesn't have to be Rock and Joe Cafe, which was going to be
I'll tell you which is not the best restaurant for cheap eats. Joe Rock Cafe.
Yeah, Joe Rock. Rock and Joe something else. I've done this before. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Bill's is just like so consistently good and so cheap. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that should really be up there in the conversation. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, it depends on your definition of cheap, and it also depends on what you're looking for exactly. Just to do random first names that are also excellent restaurants in Atlantic City. You mentioned Bill's. I think Harry's is very good. I don't know if that's cheap enough to be considered cheap eats. It's kind of normal priced, but
I think it's a good value. I think it's a very good value, yeah.
Yeah, because it's really good food for a reasonable price, I think. And another first name, Tony's, also excellent. I've never been there sober. I don't want to be there sober, but when you're drunk, it's just there's nothing you can do that's better for yourself than go to Tony's.
Man. I think I gotta go to Tony's Baltimore Grill.
Oh, did I remind you of it? Have you forgotten?
Yeah. It's really good. It's so it's really classic. Just like neon pink
I'm
inside.
Always sober when I'm at Bill's Hero Souvlaki, and I'm always still pleased. Like, I don't know if I'd be that happy at Tony's if I was like stone cold sober like I usually am at Bill's, because it's normally like roll into the town and like let's go to Bill's.
That's true. Yeah, it's usually like the first meal we have if that's the option. I mean, Suzai we've had really good meals at. That's like reasonably cheap. I wouldn't necessarily call it cheap eats.
So for me, I think there's kind of two choices, and they're both probably going to be very unexpected for you, but it's depending on what exactly you want. I mean, I think the restaurant that when I go to the city, I look most forward to going to, which is also just insanely cheap, is probably Gilchrist's. And now, I don't know if that qualifies or not, because it's only open until like 2 every day or something like that. And, obviously they're known for breakfast, and I will give you a spoiler that I'm also going to choose them for best breakfast in a couple categories. But, I mean, Gilchrist's, I think, is just fantastic, and it's just quintessential cheap eats.
It is.
But for me, so that's one restaurant that has a property at Tropicana, but I think Bar-O-Lon and their happy hour there is just fantastic. And it's certainly inexpensive. I mean, it's not like cheap style food, but the prices at happy hour are incredibly low, and I think the food is just incredibly delicious, and I just really have loved it every single time I've gone to Bar-O-Lon for happy hour. So I think it's Gilchrist's and or Bar-O-Lon for me.
Yeah, so I think as far as just sheer value, Bar-O-Lon for happy hour is amazing and constitutes cheap eats.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a really good choice. I mean, as far as what I think of as Atlantic City cheap eats, I feel like, there are few other options. Irish pub is like the definition of cheap eats, but the food is very food, like it's like sustenance.
The beer is very much better than the food.
Piccalilli has wings. That's all I've ever eaten there.
Their wings are delicious.
But yeah, I think I'm going to go with Tony's Baltimore Grill because it's like the quintessential. Are you picking one between Bar-O-Lon and...
I'll go with Bar-O-Lon.
Okay, go for it.
It's fantastic. It's such a spectacular value. The food is really good, though they do lose points for taking the skewers, which were really, I think, just the absolute high point of the happy hour menu, the happy hour menu. They were so good.
For whatever they were. $5? $3?
It was less than that, yeah.
So, best bar.
I mean, I think it really depends on what you really want out of a bar. I mean, I think there's some great ones. We were just talking about Bar-O-Lon. I think for happy hour, like you can get some really good beers for a really reasonable price and some really good food. And I think it kind of qualifies it as a bar. There's just tons of places to get a lot of beer in Atlantic City. But for me, and I know you're going to differ from me on this, but when I think of a bar and what I want really cheap and cold Miller Lite, and I want to get some wings. And for me, no one does those two things better than Piccalilli. And that's just where I'm at. I think the wings are good. I think that it's just so quintessentially New Jersey, and it's just everything I'm looking for when I'm in Atlantic City. I want like two random Italian guys just to be yelling at each other right next to me, and just cold Miller Lite, and I don't know. It's just perfect. It's
like, I think I've described it before, but if you've never been, it's 4 8-foot tall walls. It's a box, right?
It's
like
a cube.
If you look at the thing, it's a cube. Wood paneling is just like inside, all wood paneled. There's like a pinball machine in one corner. They have like all the just macro beers on tap. It's basically exactly what you'd expect. Smallish menu, and it's just like completely no frills. And I agree completely with you that it is a Kyle bar.
Yeah.
And I enjoy my time there. Like I certainly like a good dive bar. For me, part of me, I have to decide between their sort of cross the way rival, the Irish pub, which I love, and I've loved every minute I've been at the Irish pub. I love everything about the Irish pub except the food's not amazing.
It's just so much more sedate than Piccalilli, and that's a black mark against it.
It's nuts in there. I love it. I just love everything about all the kitsch and ridiculousness.
No, it's nuts in Piccalilli.
And then,
like, legitimately, when you're in Piccalilli, you're like, anything can happen right now. Like, there is no limit to what I can see.
Now I'm saying the decor in the Irish pub is nuts. I mean,
I'm talking about just the situation at Piccalilli.
So in 2018, I certainly had the most fun bar time for me at the Hard Rock Center bar. Like, I really love that bar, but, it doesn't have sort of the ridiculous quintessential AC stuff. It's not really, it doesn't feel like a full experience because it doesn't have like food and other stuff. Like it's just a video poker bar. So I got to go to Irish pub, which I think is who I went with last year also. It's a great bar. I feel like we're going to end up in a situation where you were like heading that way and you're going to go to Piccalilli and I'm going to go to Irish pub.
And that's just how we're going to, what we're going to happen.
Meet up back in the Asian room at the Hard Rock.
I don't know. I just think that choice is not defendable.
You're crazy. It's so good. I love it. I love it so much.
It's so boring.
Oh my goodness. It's so not.
The food's not good.
Go around Christmas.
Food is not good.
I actually really thought the wings were very good at Irish pub.
Unbelievable.
I might have been many, many drinks deep.
You are. All right. Anyway, next category, best breakfast, Gilchrist, hands down. I don't think there's anything to talk about.
Also Gilchrist, I agree. I mean, I know that there's a lot of talk about the Casa Tequila Bar having very good breakfast at Tropicana, and so people have pitched that as maybe even a notch above just in terms of quality. But
bread and butter, fantastic.
Bread and butter is also very good, yeah.
It's so good, but nothing is Gilchrist.
Yeah, Gilchrist is just...
The one in Tropicana is just amazingly good. It's perfect to have, and then the one in Gardner's Basin is just better, so...
Yeah, they're both so good. I mean,
I think one of the best breakfast experiences of my life was when I went with my family in September and we got seated in the last table out on the dock at Gardner's Basin. It was just, I don't know. It's just, you can't beat that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Such good pancakes.
The pancakes. And there's like so many strange meat options that they have there too, that it's just like there's like 12 meats you can choose from with your pancakes.
So I love like egg and cheese and some sort of meat sandwich. Mm-hmm. And I'm always like, I should get that. And I was like, I'm not going to eat anything other than pancakes here. Like, these are the best pancakes I've ever had. I'm going to get the pancakes. But maybe someday I'll go on a trip where I go twice, right? And I go once and get pancakes. And then I go another time and I'm like, I'm going to get pancakes again. I probably just get pancakes a second time. Anyways. Last set of categories as we think about amazing pancakes.
Oh, man. We probably should take a pancake break.
We should. Except, so I'll see you in AC in like 4 hours. And we'll wait until they open, and then we'll continue this.
I could be at work in time.
After?
No, not if we have to wait until they open. Only if they were open at 3 a.m. for us.
Yeah, we'll have to go to Tony's Baltimore Grill and get one of those little pizzas.
Oh, yes.
But then you'd have to drink on the way because you can't go there sober.
You can't go sober, no. I can never go to Tony sober. I just know it would ruin it for me. And
yeah. So the final few categories are miscellaneous.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is the best non-gaming attraction. And I think a couple years ago you made your opinion very loudly known that you have one thing and it will be that thing forever. So are you...
That's right.
Are you gonna
best
say
non-gaming attraction is the boardwalk. And I think that... it's what Atlantic City is known for. It's, they were the first major boardwalk, and just... Isn't that what Atlantic City is?
It really is. So I really
going up and down the boardwalk, and just on like a nice cool summer night, just being out there, and like that's just what Atlantic City is.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had said the outlets in the past, and the outlets are very good outlets. So I'll pitch that. Although I know a lot of people give me some crap for saying the outlets, and there is. I feel like there has been more stuff sort of coming up in this category. Little Water Distillery, I don't know if you'd call that really an attraction, but they do distillery tours. So hopefully this is something that's continuing to grow and be more interesting and have more interesting options. But I think I'm going to actually side with you and just say, like, walking up and down the boardwalk, especially now that there are 6 casinos again on the boardwalk, I think that makes a huge difference. Because, last year at this time, the boardwalk really only had 4 casinos. It felt like there was basically the Bally's Wild West Caesars center. And then there was like way up at Resorts. And then there was like way down at Tropicana and like nothing in between any of those things. And that doesn't really feel like that. Like it feels more like Tropicana still feels really far from everything. but it doesn't feel like so crazy far from Caesars. And then, you get from Bally's to Resorts fairly quickly, and then there's a bunch of stuff. So it does feel like a more full experience for me. So I'm going to go with the boardwalk this year also.
Yeah, the boardwalk is Atlantic City to me, and there's nothing better than being on the boardwalk on a nice night. Certainly right now I don't want to be transported to the boardwalk because it is freaking freezing outside. But if the weather was a little better, that's where I'd want to be. Just... it's perfect. So,
best new thing in 2018. A lot of new things happened.
There were a lot of new things. I think that, for me, it has to go to, and I gave this to kind of 2 different things. And those things are the 2 new properties in Atlantic City that opened in 2018. I think it was great to see Hard Rock come in and just the amount of money they spent and what they're trying to do to the city. I think they've got a really transformative view of the city. And just for me personally, the Revel was a special place for me. And it was great to see Ocean open up and just to be able to go back in that property and walk around and spend some time in there. So am I allowed to have just the new casino properties?
So your new thing is just like, new casinos being new. Yeah. I mean,
that has to be the choice, right?
Yeah. See, I want to force you to
there's
pick.
some cool stuff. Like I rode the Ferris wheel a bunch. I think that was new in 2018, right?
It was. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We loved it.
It
Might have been very, very close to the end of 2017.
Oh, it might have been. I think it was right after Christmas of 2017, but it's close 2018.
Yeah, I think, I could be a dick and like make you pick between Hard Rock and Ocean, but
it would be Hard Rock if you made me pick one. But I think it's just the fact that 2 new properties opened up was great.
I feel like if we're talking about sort of 2018 as a whole and like what changed in Atlantic City and what gets us excited for Atlantic City. Like, yes, I love Hard Rock. It was my best casino property overall. But this idea that there are 2 new, in quotes, casino properties, we're back up to 9 casino properties as a whole. Who knows how long that'll last. But it's just this, it really like breathes life into, for me personally, like my excitement about Atlantic City and going and being excited to like try a bunch of new stuff and new restaurants and walk around that property at Ocean and walk around the property at Hard Rock. And like those things are kind of inseparable in terms of like they opened on the same freaking day, right?
Yeah. That was crazy. Yeah. It was a crazy day when we went for opening. Yeah.
So just like that to me, I think just the like dual openings of Hard Rock and Ocean, I agree.
Yep. So the next category is the biggest disappointment of 2018. And for me, I think I had a clear answer, and that was Hard Rock and Ocean, especially kind of how they've done in the city and their financial performance. I think we came in with high expectations for both of them, and they've both far, far, far from met those expectations. And it just looks like Atlantic City cannot support the number of casinos it has now. And for me, I think it's the biggest disappointment of the year for me.
Yeah, I think that's a totally reasonable answer. And not the answer I had, but I would consider changing.
I kind of like the symmetry as well between last answer and this answer both being the same.
For me, though, I think the thing that the first 6 months of the year, how I felt about Atlantic City and what I was most disappointed about in Atlantic City was just this fatigue that I felt toward Bally's and Caesars, which were like 2 places that I have spent the most time in Atlantic City in my years of going there. And how just nothing's changed there since I started going. And like Caesars puts money into Harrah's. They've clearly just let those 2 properties lag by the wayside. And, I think it's funny because a couple of years ago, I think we maybe even said Bally's was the most improved because of all the money they had put into the Boardwalk Saloon and changing up Wild Wild West and that kind of stuff. But as far as like Park Place and even Wild Wild West doesn't really feel like it feels like it needs more. It feels like it needs more work done in it. The rooms, like the Jubilee rooms, feel not that exciting to me. Like they need to do something to make it feel exciting and new. So just like this general lack of any sort of capital expenditures on those properties is disappointing for me. I think that's my biggest disappointment. I don't know. It's weird because I didn't really have expectations. So like with the gambling revenue thing, it's really disappointing Hard Rock and Ocean, and certainly Hard Rock because of the expectations were sky high. Like we were talking about, Ocean's gonna take over Borgata for #1 spot for a month at some point. Like we said that could happen.
Most ridiculous prediction of 2018.
Like laughable in retrospect,
right?
But just so it's a little weird because how do you have such disappointment without expectations? But from that feeling of going from really like when I pictured getting to Atlantic City, it was like walking in the bus terminal at Bally's, going into Bally's, walking through Wild Wild West, and then going to Caesars. And now, like, if I'm sitting at Bally's Park Place, I'm like, I don't really want to be here. And like Caesars, I enjoy my time when I'm actually there, but when I think about it when I'm not there, I'm like, why do I go there? Like, why do I end up there? I don't really understand it because it just looks so much the same as it's always looked since I started going there. So, yeah, it's disappointment more from my previous feelings about those properties than any sort of expectation I had for what they were going to do in 2018.
Yeah, just for me, kind of after the opening of Hard Rock and Ocean, the biggest story of the year is just how clear and apparent it is that the city can't support the number of casinos they have now, and just how badly Hard Rock and Ocean are doing compared to all expectations, not only of us, but I think of everyone.
Yeah. So the flip side of that is the most exciting thing for 2019. And I don't know that we have a whole lot of expectations for what's going to happen in 2019.
I'm scared, I've been the optimist, I think, on this show for the entire run of it for the last 4 years or 3.5 years or whatever. But I'm nervous. I mean, I think there's going to be casino closings in 2019. I think that...
Plural?
Certainly Bally's, I think.
I disagree. I don't think they close in 2019. I think everybody sticks it out through 2019, and we don't get any closings until 2020.
You think so?
Yeah. I think everybody gets one more summer.
I think Bally's is right there, and we'll have to see what happens with Ocean. I mean, I think it'd be insane for a property that nice to close down, but boy, when you're making $11 million a month, that's just not good enough.
Yeah. I mean, obviously now we've got this rumor that we haven't gotten into much detail about, so...
Right.
Potential sale of Ocean. Ocean and Hard Rock have really dominated our expectations and what we're excited about. I feel like Ocean/Rebel/10 for since we started the podcast, right?
Yeah, but I'm scared. So you would take the under if I said 0.5 closings in 2019?
I would be nervous about it, but I would take the under. I don't think anybody's closing just yet. I mean, obviously, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it in on September 1st or something like that, right? Or
right it'll be like October
1st, yeah,
for sure.
You're full of dread. The whole thing was to end on an up swing.
I know.
What's your exciting thing?
So here's the thing. Not only is Bally's not doing well, not only is it not a nice place to be, not only is it not really profitable, but Caesars has every incentive to close down Bally's, given that it will help Caesars and Harrah's. Given that I think the plan kind of all along has been for those two to be the two properties that survive in the city.
Yeah.
Right? Like if Bally's was an independent property, I think it would be much less likely that they close this year.
Right. Sure.
But they're not.
That's true.
I don't know. So anyway, do you want to... So the most exciting thing for me? I don't know. I mean, I think, the things that excite me, I think Tennessee Avenue is pretty cool. I think the continued development of that is going to be neat, and we'll kind of see what comes in. Stockton opening up, I think that's going to be a cool thing. And
I think those are the two.
Seeing how that really transforms kind of that south end of Atlantic City.
Yeah, I mean, for me, what I'm probably most excited about is seeing how Tennessee Avenue transforms. They've got the Tennessee Avenue Beer Hall now. Heyday Coffee is already open. There's some other stuff over there. There's that Bourrée bar restaurant place. So, it's starting to happen. And if you walk out to Heyday or to Made Chocolate, which is another one of the places that's open there, it still feels a little sketchy. And so seeing if that sort of transforms out the sketchiness, phases out the sketchiness, that would be really exciting because the location's great, especially now that Hard Rock and Ocean are open. It's right by resorts. And it would be great to have another block of the boardwalk where there's a bunch of attractions there. So that's what I'm most excited about. But as far as impact long-term in Atlantic City, I think all the stuff, the development that's going to happen revolving around Stockton and sort of in support of the Stockton College campus is probably more important for the long-term, but that's not really, what gets my motor going.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote down the continued development of Tennessee Avenue and just kind of seeing how that transforms the city. I mean, I think, my impression of Atlantic City and maybe of New Jersey in general is that it's going to be the small businesses that bring this back, and it's specifically not going to be the CRDA. I think that there's enough of a corruption problem, not only with the mayor and the city council and that stuff, but with just everything in New Jersey. It's just hard for something to be really transformative that happens on a large business scale. But I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of the small business owners end up doing in the city, whether it be down near Stockton or on Tennessee Ave.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to make the big difference in terms of getting people back. getting people who come to Atlantic City to say like, oh, there's a bunch of stuff I need to check out. I need to make my return trip, and that's what's going to help everything. So one thing we didn't mention in our best new thing is sports betting. So that's something that sort of like popped into my mind for most exciting thing for 2019 but obviously it's already here. But
yep. I think Hard Rock and Ocean were. Sports betting, it's a big deal. I mean, obviously, I don't think it's as big of a deal as a lot of other people do, but the opening of Hard Rock and Ocean for me there's nothing that could be bigger than 2 new casinos opening in the town. If a new casino opens next year, that will be the best new thing in Atlantic City in 2019.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, but
Atlantic Club 3.0, keep the dream alive.
Oh, it would be amazing. Yeah, well, who knows what's going to happen with Trump Plaza, Kyle?
Oh, I know what's going to happen with Trump Plaza. It's going to be demolished.
Well, we can talk more about that next episode.
Yes.
So that's it. Best of 2018. Any other thoughts?
To be continued. No. Well, thank you guys for listening with us in 2018. I know our schedules were pretty crazy and up in the air, so it definitely meant a lot for you to stick with us and continue interacting with us. Whether it be through Twitter or Facebook or email or however you do, but we just want to thank you guys a lot. It's been a cool year, and hopefully we'll get back into a bit more of a groove this year, since hopefully no one will be having any more babies. Yeah. Certainly I will not.
Yeah, I can't believe I made it to Atlantic City 5 times this year.
Yeah,
despite having a kid in March, so that is or February. It's quite surprising.
What do you think for your over-under for Atlantic City trips this year?
I think
given that I'm not going to be going anytime soon, since I'm going in under a month for over a week to Macau.
So I was supposed to go this past weekend, and then we had to cancel because
you didn't have a babysitter.
We did not have someone to take the kids. Thought we did and then didn't. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's usually sort of what gets me started, where I have one very early, and then I can have. So I expect I'd manage to get in 4, but if you don't go until April, I might end up being only 3. That'd be kind of sad. 3 trips. That's weak.
April is still pretty early in the year. You can do 4 after April.
Yeah, and so one thing, the day trip really wasn't bad, especially so in the summer. I think there are more buses for one thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm always up for a Thursday night trip. That's like super convenient for me. It's just perfect for my schedule, and I have a lot of leave, so taking 2 days off is never a problem.
And my weeknights open up in the summer again because my wife will not have work. So I don't know, maybe we can figure that out.
A lot of weeknight trips.
Yeah, done.
Ooh.
6 AC trips.
I'm excited.
No, I'm going to set the over-under at
4.5.
No, I'm not going to get in 5 trips. I think it will be 4 trips.
You did it this year, man, and you had a baby.
Yeah, I think it'll be 4 trips. I think that's probably where I'll end up.
I will probably not be going 4 times.
Yeah, that's sad. You should figure that out.
Maybe I will. I'll go 4 times. It'll happen.
Done. We will both go 4 times. It has been established.
Yep. Let us know. Flame away. We'd love to hear why we're wrong. If you have all the details on why we're wrong, please send it to @DoForAWin on Twitter or to doforawin@gmail.com. Or I guess you could post in the Facebook group at facebook.com/group/DoForAWin.
Yeah, I feel like we never get enough pushback on these episodes. I would love to hear somebody say, like, here's why you're wrong, and let me break it down for you why, I don't know, Resorts is the best property in Atlantic City.
You're wrong because Irish Pub is in every way uninteresting.
Oh, so I know we have people in our Facebook group who think that Irish Pub is just absolutely disgusting.
It's like 6-foot-high ceilings, and it's just like,
awesome.
Ugh.
Love it. Just stuff everywhere.
Foolish. All right. Yeah, we should sign off. It's been a long episode, but thank you guys very much for listening, and we'll see you maybe in a week. We'll try to come back, get back on the horse, and not have another 3-week break.
We didn't argue enough.
Yeah, that was surprising.
I told you that we weren't going to argue. We're too agreeable. We're just agreeable people.
I mean, there's obviously only one best property in Atlantic City, and it's Borgata.
Well, I mean,
I thought you were going to get more of my grill about it.